when I got kicked out of my last university, my cousin was going to University of Tennessee as well, and I basically lived in his dorm. And he stayed in his girlfriend's dorm because I was scared to tell my mom and everybody that I got kicked out of school.
Wow. Yeah.
The only time I had to tell them that I actually got kicked out is when I was sitting in the jail cell and when I needed someone to bond me out and to help me, get my car to impound because they took my car to him. Going to battle in your own mind because 85% of what we hear is between our ears.
Yeah.
It's in your head. You telling yourself, they judging you. You told them this. They looking at you now. They looking at you crazy.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Remember what the Father, combat all those lies with the Father's word about he has said about you.
Yeah.
He said that you are beautifully and wonderfully made in his likeness and image. You must combat all those evil thoughts. It wasn't until recent, about 5 years ago, when I went through a situation where he got my attention. And, I had a fiancée, and that was a 6-year relationship that ended up not working. And then I went from, the fiancé to getting fired from my job 2 months later. And so in that turn, the Lord took all and everything away from me that distracted me from him. And so at that time, that's when the relationship with him started going deep. That's when, because there was times I didn't want to, in that time of feeling all that loss and anger, I didn't want to live.
Yeah.
I was like, man, it might as well just be over.
Hey, welcome to God's Glory and Men's Real Stories. Hey, look, whether this is your first time joining us or you've been here from the start, I'm grateful you're here. I want you to look at this as a safe space for real stories and conversations. Stories of struggle, healing, and the hope we find in God. No matter what your journey looks like, it matters. You matter, and your story isn't over. But before we get going, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and do us a favor and hit that thumbs up. And no matter where you're watching or listening, I want you to subscribe now so you never miss another episode. And after this one, I think you will want to catch every last one. And don't keep these conversations to yourself. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today. So let's get it there. Today's guest is a faith-filled leader, author, movement founder, and collegiate football coach for the 2025 CIAA Championship football team from the illustrious Johnson C. Smith University.
Yes.
JC?
As you.
He's out here running miles and sharing scriptures and bringing an encouraging word to everyone. So I'm excited to have him here with me today. So join me in welcoming our brother, Keon Fly, to the episode.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate the opportunity. I just appreciate you. I'm just filled with joy this morning.
Yeah.
Just a chance to have this conversation and, definitely talk to the Lord about it. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Well, I truly believe that the Lord prepared you for this moment.
Yeah.
I think he prepared your story for this moment. I truly believe that every guest is not a coincidence. I'm just like, okay, God, why this guy? And God's like, well, do you trust me?
Right.
As I tell people, God is the executive producer of this show. So when he points me, I say, okay,
right.
I don't have to understand it,
no.
But he knows. And I believe what he has put in you is going to be an opportunity for someone to get something out of it, someone to transformation to happen there, someone, if nothing else, to say, wow, this brother understands.
Yes.
I don't feel alone anymore. I don't feel like I'm fighting a battle that nobody else would understand, because that's where a lot of us sit sometimes.
Yeah.
So
that's so important, that we don't feel alone. And it was actually the young men that I've been in charge of, my entire life, the young men and young women who have challenged me to actually do these things and to speak, because they will always say, hey, coach, you need to speak more. I was like, because I will always duck away from the cameras. I will duck away from it. Even a lot of the content that they do on our Brick by Brick, show that they got in the school, that's done by HBC Game Day. Anytime that we had those intimate conversations, especially when we're talking about God and stuff like that, I always ask them, like, can we not record that? Because I always never want to overshadow the Lord or overshadow our young men and just the work that they have done. And it's actually be them a lot of times. They're like, nah, coach, they will push me to the front. Nah, coach, you go up there and go say something. I'm like, I don't really want to do that. And I think a lot of our men in this world, suffer from shame, things that they have dealt with in their life, things that they grew up, battles that they've had, things that have happened to them in the dark that they don't want to bring to the light, because anytime that we go stand out there in faith, we fear being judged. We fear being looked down on. And we also fear people bringing up how you used to be. That's the biggest thing that people put up all the time. Yeah. Especially where I'm from. They pull up what I used to be, because that's the only thing that people know.
Sure.
And I tell people all the time, you gotta meet me again. You don't know who I am.
Come on.
I haven't talked to you in 10 years.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because I think I'm better than anyone. Right. Or any of those things. It just, I'm a whole new person.
Yeah, that's good.
I've been created differently in our Lord and Savior. And so, not that I was a bad person growing up, but people remember the things that you've done.
For sure.
And so I just challenge everybody to not judge anyone, not look down on anyone, because we shouldn't.
Yeah.
We shouldn't boast or brag, because we don't get in the kingdom from our works, our careers, our jobs, our titles, our houses. None of those things.
Yeah.
Do it by faith.
Yeah. No, that's so true, bro. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Man, look, he already got the mic on. He said, I'm coming out the gate today. I'm coming out the gate with it. So so real quick, introduce yourself to those who don't know you.
Yes, sir.
Those who are like, I want to get to know this guy. Who is Kevon?
Man, that is
I know
it's a
loaded one.
That's a long question. As I was telling you in the drive over, Memphis raised, but Humboldt made. Humboldt, Tennessee, little small town outside of Memphis, Tennessee, where with the high school where I got all of my grit from, where I got all of my personality from. Just being able to grow up in those situations and be in those environment kind of built and challenged me to be the person I am today. I'm the oldest of 8 boys, which was trying in itself, trying to find food to eat and things like that at times.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest cousin. And, anytime anyone did anything wrong, I was always to blame for, because I'm the oldest.
You supposed to be set the example.
I'm the oldest. And, raised by my mom and grandmother. My father was a pastor when I was younger, but once my parents, kind of divorced and separated, my dad wasn't pastor anymore. He wasn't around as much anymore. And he remarried and things like that. So that in itself, is a testimony and a lesson that I had to learn to grow up in and things like that. And so just was going through life trying to find out who I was. And, every single time that I kind of got in trouble or dealt with anything, it was because I was trying to be someone outside of who God created me to be.
Come on. Yeah. Wow. That's good, bro. That's so true. That's so true. Like even realizing that normally the consequences follow the confusion and identity. Right. Of well, I thought that this is who I am and this is what I do. And sometimes we realize through the consequence that, okay, well, why do I continue to fall into this being who I am?
Right.
Is this who I am? Is this who I'm supposed to be?
Right.
And for a lot of us, we never actually realize who we are and whose we are, because we're stuck constantly perpetuating the same thing we've seen around us and the same thing that the identity that everybody's placed on us. And so, no, I appreciate you sharing that, because that's a great way to segue the conversation into just your story of how you got here, and even down to the fact that I don't want to overlook the elephant in the room, and the fact that you didn't just come here, you didn't just come here to coach collegiate football. You came here to allow God to use you in a way to point people back to Him.
Right.
And while doing that, you picked up some things on the way.
Yes.
And you actually brought the surprise guest with us today. We're going to go ahead and just point him out. So we're going to introduce, I'll let you introduce him.
That
You know
right there. You know, before the season started, I already said we were champions. We've been saying it for the entire time. One thing that we say every single day, Galatians 6:9, to let us not go greedy of doing good for a due season. We shall reap a harvest if we harvest well. We had young men that came to the table and came to the university who believed 4 years ago when we couldn't buy kids to come to the university because of, you know, the years of losing. And for it to be that senior class that came here 4 years ago to be the champions, it says a lot in their belief in the program.
Yeah.
And so that is your CIAA 2025 championship trophy that belongs to those young men.
Come on. Y'all see him over there. Anybody who didn't believe or thought it was a float, you know what I'm saying? And he's speaking volumes right now. You don't hear him? I mean, he said enough. We just, hey, look, I'm happy that you could bring him today because like you said, those kids put in the work.
They did.
To get there. But in all of that, you didn't just build a solid football foundation in them. You brought the presence of God to them in every piece of how you touch that program. And I think that when you do that, what do they say? Train up a child in the way that he should go.
And never depart from it.
Come on. And the truth is that when we were in college, we were still children.
Yes, and I tell those stories all the time because I use my life as a testimony, even the embarrassing stories.
Okay, let's hear it then. Come on, let's jump there.
Because you know, I tell them all the time. I got kicked out of 2 universities before I found myself at Tennessee State University, and when I got kicked out of my last university, my cousin was going to University of Tennessee as well, and I basically lived in his dorm. And he stayed in his girlfriend's there because I was scared to tell my mom and everybody that I got kicked out of school.
Wow. Yeah.
The only time I had to tell them that I actually got kicked out is when I was sitting in the jail cell and when I needed someone to bond me out and to help me, you know, get my car to impound because they took my car to impound. And I was sitting in jail and, you know, it was a life-changing situation because I had a son at the time. Well, I still have a son, but my son was just 2 at the time when I was found myself sitting in jail. And my son's mom said something that still resonates with me today. Because when I called her home from jail, she was like, "You gonna tell your son one day." And those words alone helped me change a lot of things, you know, once I finally, you know, put it into play. But, you know, sitting in, you know, that jail cell, I learned a lot of things about myself. Now, I'm not going to say, act like when I got out of it, that I started this straight path because I actually got worse.
Wow.
I actually got worse for a couple months. And I went on a tear for about 6 months until I found myself sitting in the jail cell again where I couldn't bond out and I had to sit there.
Wow. Yeah.
And I missed football practice. I missed the opportunity, and the school ended up, you know, severing my scholarship. And because I was in jail in June and part of July, and you know, that's football time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, it's that time. It's that time. And I actually had to sit there, you know, no bond, no nothing.
So I'm curious, what was it, like you said, after the first time you got arrested and you said you came out of jail, and you became worse. What was it that happened even in jail and when you got out that pushed you deeper into the life that you were living? That, and sometimes, you know, people say, well, you know, I stepped out now I was really angry.
Right.
But I always feel like there's something behind that was that in a way pushes our boys to like, our men even, to like feel like I gotta chew up that. I gotta go harder now in the paint for what got me here because of whatever.
I would say it was because of embarrassment. I was embarrassed. So because I was embarrassed of, you know, getting put out of school, I thought that the further I went deeper into it, then, people will respect me because, from my neighborhood, they respect someone who is doing wrong, who is doing crimes, doing those things. Because I remember, as crazy as it sounds, I told myself I want to be the hardest person out in the street. I literally let that come out of my mouth at 19 years old. I said, I want to be the hardest person out here. If I can't play football, if I can't do this, let me be the hardest person out here.
I came with a price, I'm sure.
Oh, it came with a price. It came with a healthy price. And just saying those words, when I hear them now, when I see young men going to college and changing their identity, they may have come from a two-parent household, they go to college now, and then they're acting tough. They're acting easy. And I tell our guys all the time, and I tell our young women all the time, I said, man, your parents just sent you here for you to be outside of yourself. This is your safe space. This is your opportunity to change your entire life, because you being here, it's a bunch of your friends, and you all have them that have passed away, that have got killed, that wish they were in college and had their opportunity. Take full advantage of it. And I didn't take full advantage of it because I went deeper into the life. And then I saw my brothers, I'm the oldest, and saw my brothers started to get in trouble and people starting to do things. And I was like, what am I doing?
They were mimicking you. They were looking at you, looking up and getting the game plan from you, and like, oh, okay, this is what we do. Like he's the oldest, he sets the tone almost.
Exactly.
Wow.
And I set the tone for an entire community. I set the tone for an entire city, because of what I was doing. When I hear, see the young guys doing these things that they don't have respect and stuff like that, I was one of the first people that did that. And it's embarrassing to think about it, and what I did and how I did it, just fighting, selling narcotics, breaking in cars, doing just things, stealing cars as well. Just the things that I was doing were just so outside of who God made me to be and who he intended me to be. When I think about it now, it's embarrassing.
Yeah. Okay, so look, before we jump back into the conversation, I want to ask you a quick favor. If these conversations have encouraged you, challenged you, or simply reminded you that you're not alone, would you take a second to subscribe, like, and share this episode, all right? Every share helps us reach another man who may be struggling silently and needs to hear that hope, healing, and freedom are still possible and found in Jesus Christ. And if you'd like to stay connected with everything happening around God's glory and men's real stories, visit our website where you'll find past episodes, podcast updates, merch, and resource designed to support men on their journey towards healing, freedom, and a deeper relationship with God. Thank you for being part of this community. We don't take this support lightly. Now, let's get back to the conversation. It's interesting because I think if I were to sum up like the path that most men take, we're all searching for our identity.
Right.
And a lot of times we look to others to give us that identity that we then in turn we play out. And the craziest thing we could do is go to somebody who didn't create us or doesn't know us and let them tell us who we are and what we should do, and then live that life for the rest of our life, regardless of the price that it comes with, and never have a moment where, like you said, I'm sitting in a cell, they're not mailing me out, and I don't take that time to be like, is this it? Like if I do the math, I'll be back here in no time, based on what I'm going to do when I get out of here. And I think that's, and it doesn't even have to be prison. I mean, it could be the prison we create based on the identities that we begin to perpetuate based on the choices we make. I mean, I feel like every time I go to the prison, I realize I'm one choice away from sitting right here with you guys.
Yes.
There's nothing different. You are not a bad person. I'm a good person. No, we are people who get an opportunity to make choices, and the consequences that follow sometimes land us places where it's like, dang, I didn't equate this into the problem.
Right.
And so, I think the fact that you were the oldest, it was like the enemy knew that if he could get you, then he could get everybody behind you.
Exactly.
Like that's as crazy as it sounds. It's like, yo, if I can just get one of them, that one will
lead everybody else
right off the cliff with them.
And I didn't understand that as a kid as well, because, everyone kind of followed a lot of the things that I did, and I didn't understand it until older. That's why, the youth is so precious to me, because the youth are drawn to whatever the Lord has placed inside of me.
For sure.
And so it was the same way when I was a kid. People were drawn to me. And it wasn't that I was encouraging people to do the wrong things. I would literally tell people, hey, I'm doing this. You shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it, but you shouldn't.
Right. Be better than me.
Be better than me. And so even in telling that, people still saw that, and they saw me getting away with it, or saw me doing that. Like, oh, okay, I'm going to try to do it as well.
Yeah. Better than me doesn't actually have a look. It's like nobody actually knows what better than me looks like. So they're looking at you and they're like, all right, so maybe better than me starts with me being him. And then I'll get like that just hit me. Like, yo, better than me doesn't like, show me what better than me looks like. I can't. So that I'm going to mimic what you're doing.
Exactly.
Like, that just hit me. I'm like,
Oh, it's the truth, because a lot of times we tell people, I was telling some of the young men, I was telling one of my young men yesterday, we tell people all the time, man, give it to God. God and do it. And he will, but we're not telling them how to get there. Just like I told the kids, be better than me, but I wasn't telling them how to be better than me.
Yeah.
So in turn, they mimic what I did. And when we tell people to give it to God, it's so surface level. We're not telling them how to actually get there. We're not telling them our story, our testimony, our shame, out of things that we've done. And as men, we do those things. So a lot of these stories I didn't tell because shame.
Yeah. No, that's fair. It like, how will they look at me if I go back and tell them the guy they see before them that is a whole new person has this story behind me? And I think that's where, what did the scripture say? It said, you will know me by the blood of the Lamb and the word of my testimony.
Right.
And I think that in that, when you refuse to share your testimony, then you're keeping people from understanding.
Right.
And more importantly, like even when you shared earlier that like, oh yeah, I grew up and my parents separated and my dad was a pastor. Like, bro, yeah. Yeah. Me too.
Exactly.
Me too. Like, bro, I'm already engaged now. Like you got my attention because I recognize that.
Right.
That's my story too. And so I think when you grab a person's attention with a piece of their story, now they're like,
yeah, they get to leaning over. And that's how I do it with the young men as well, because every Friday we have a devotion. And so, I listen to mostly gospel and Christian rap. And so every devotion that I have with the young guys, I will always take a song title that they know and use it.
Okay.
And it gains their attention from the beginning. Because I'm gonna have to tell you, one of our favorite songs as a team is "Preach" by Young Dolph. That's he from my city.
Yeah.
And so I would use that song because he says if you don't work, you don't eat. And I use, faith without work is dead. And so it gained their attention. They all sitting up like they're ready to look. And so, that's how we get someone's attention, by being relatable. Bringing something to the table that they can be like, oh, okay, I get that.
Yeah.
And it's the same way in my life, because I think a lot of people see who I am now and they be like, oh, he's so motivated. He's so this, he this, he that. There's a whole lot of, pain and struggle behind the eyes, behind the man.
Yeah.
And we have to tell those stories because someone else is dealing with that exact same thing, and you help them up out of the pit. But you can't help them if you keep it to yourself.
For sure. So how did Kevon get to where he was with losing scholarships, being kicked out of school, to now not only not just being in a school or working at a school, but coaching other men at a college,
right? And
I'm guessing the same sport that you played.
Yes, play football.
Okay.
Man, it's so long. You don't have enough days.
Okay.
But getting kicked out of college, um, you know, getting to Tennessee State, having the opportunity to try to, do my, rekindle my playing ability, still didn't work out, things like that. And I always knew I wanted to be a coach and be able to be someone that young men and young women can count on, being able to be that person to talk to them, because I needed help from coaches when I was going through those things, and nobody helped. Nobody was trying to, speak up for me. Nobody was trying to help me get to another school. Nobody trying to help me get my film. Nobody was trying to do those things. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to be a coach one day. And I didn't start coaching until I was 30. So this is year 10 of coaching.
Yeah. So wait. So you saw a need.
Yes.
And you filled in the need because you recognized that there was a time where I needed a coach in my life.
Needed one. So I needed to feel that. So I needed to be someone to step into that place, and be able to relate to young men and young women and be able to help them, because, it's not my job to change them. That's the Lord's job.
For sure.
My job is to plant the seed.
Yeah.
And just pray that they understand it. And eventually it will, come to grow and to come to pass. So I feel that need. And I feel like, especially in my neighborhood and where I grew up, we complain about so many things, but we don't feel the need. You got to feel it. We complain about preachers. Go be one. Complain about police. Go be one. We complain about teachers. Go be one. But we're so caught up in trying to get a bag or trying to get money that we forget about the purpose that the Lord has for us in the first place.
Yeah.
So going through all those things, I knew I wanted to be a coach. And so I started coaching for the first time in Knoxville, Tennessee. And I started coaching at a high school there. And I started as a teacher assistant at a kindergarten. And yes, 30 kindergartners. 30 kindergartners. 30 kindergartners.
Okay.
Which was exciting. I was the first Black teacher they actually hired too as well.
Wow.
First Black teacher in school history that they hired. And that was 2015. And I remember to this day, I walked in the classroom. That kid actually is in the 10th grade now. I walked into the classroom, and then one kindergartner stood up. He said, "Hey, he's dirty." And I was like, I started laughing because he was talking about my skin. And a little white kid, he said, "He's dirty." I was like, "No." I said, "No, this is actually my skin color. This is actually me. You can touch me." And all the kindergarten got up and started touching me. And it was so
wow.
Too funny. It was too funny.
Wow. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. But just a lot of, seeing the need, and that's another reason why I stay in coaching as well, because I see the need. Because I've asked God multiple times out of frustration. I was like, "How to get up out of here? Can I go be a speaker? Can I go do this or do that and do something else?" And he was like, "Yeah, but I ain't gonna bless it. That's not gonna be a blessing for me. But yeah, you can go do whatever because you have free will."
Yeah. So was that your last teaching engagement? As far as teaching students, as far as the elementary students, was that your last encounter with actually being in a teaching role?
No. So the next following year, I was a teacher. I was a high school teacher at an alternative school up in the same area. And so, and also at that alternative school, I also worked part-time at a live-in facility for about 120 beds. Kids who had been abused and had been removed from their homes. So working in those environments and just being in those situations, made me even want to coach even more, because we need people.
Wow. Well, okay. So what does that do to you though, seeing kids in that setting, in that environment with a lack of necessities and a I guess you could say a failed system that in a way kind of failed them to where they're there now. What did that impress on you? How did God begin to take that situation and shape your heart?
Right. So it took me a while, because I had to learn that, because a lot of times I'm like, "Oh, I got to save him, but I got to do this and I got to do that." And the Lord had to tell me, "You're just planting the seed.
Yeah.
I do the saving.
Ooh, okay. You know what, bro? I don't know how I missed this. Like all your life, have you been seeking God? Like, have you been seeking God even when you found yourself like getting in trouble and everything like that? Like, when did that shit begin to happen in your life?
I mean, I always went to church.
Yeah.
I always went to church. My dad was a pastor.
Oh, okay, that's right.
And so my parents divorced when I'm probably not getting the date right, but probably when I was like 8, 9, somewhere.
Okay.
And, you know, stayed with my mom and my brothers and just went through some different battles at the house, different boyfriends and things like that. And so I kind of got removed from the house and I went to live with my great grandmother. And even living with my great grandmother, she would always, pray and talk about God and things like that. And so I went from my great grandmother's house to my grandmother, my mom's mom, because my great grandmother, that was my grandfather's mother.
Okay.
And so I went to my mom's mom. And so it doesn't matter. Tired, sleep, going to church.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me and my brothers talk about that all the time. That's the difference between my brothers and myself. We went from going to church all the time with my dad to once we were with my mom, we only went to church on special occasions, whether it's Easter, whether that's, holidays. But when I got sent to live with my grandmother, I thought about going to church.
Yeah.
I had to go every Sunday, no matter what, no matter how late I was out or how late I stayed up playing the game, I had to go.
Yeah.
And so seeking God, I mean, I've always knew that. I always prayed, I always did those things, but actually building a relationship with God was a totally different thing.
For sure.
Even in college, we went to, church every Sunday because they fed everybody. And so all the college students would walk over, they feed everybody in these things like that. And so
I just spiritually and physically.
Exactly. So I always used to go to church based on I just thought you go to church, you go there. That's how I thought.
Yeah, no,
that's I know God.
That's a good point. I know him.
Yeah.
That's enough.
That's
checks
enough.
the box off. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. So it wasn't until recent, about 5 years ago, when I went through a situation where he got my attention. And, I had a fiancée and that was a 6-year relationship that ended up not working. And then I went from, the fiancée to getting fired from my job 2 months later. And so in that turn, the Lord took all and everything away from me that distracted me from him. And so at that time, that's when the relationship with him started going deep. That's when, because there was times I didn't want to, in that time of feeling all that loss and anger, I didn't want to live.
Yeah.
I was like, man, it might as well just be over. I can go, I can die.
Wow.
And in that place, in that dark space where I thought was dark, the Lord ended up finding me, where he was always there. Well, he didn't find me, I found him. He always knew where I was at. I found him in those moments.
Yeah.
Because he took me away for everything. I mean, because I got to the point now where I was still coaching high school football at the time, and I got to the point now where I was really good. I was getting notoriety. I was getting attention, and trying to be a head coach in high school, because college was never a dream of mine. It was always high school head coach, and I get to be a high school head coach. And so I go from being a all-star caliber coach in high school, losing my fiance, getting fired, to I'm just sitting at the house. And, a house that we had and everybody gone. And now I'm just sitting there.
And I can't help but see, like, there's a guy who was a head coach title, who was a fiance, husband to be soon title, who had built this beautiful picture, built this beautiful picture of a life, and then all of a sudden, your picture is taken away, and you sitting there at the house with no identity, trying to figure out, like, how do I move forward if I'm not a coach? How do I move forward if I'm not a fiance? I've lost this person who means the world to me.
Right.
What do I have that would even make me want to move forward? I've lost it all. I mean, literally, as I hear men's stories, it's like all of us have a moment where it feels slightly a lot like Job, where it's like everything that defined me is now gone.
It's gone. Exactly. Everything that I thought defined me was now gone. And I wasn't a head coach. I was an assistant to the head coach. And I was about to, I was assistant head coach. I was about to be a head coach. And, you know, that was the awesome goal. I was like, oh, I finally got a house.
Yeah.
I finally got a house, and it was the best house I've ever lived in. I'm like, I finally got a house. I finally making over 50,000. I finally getting the money. I got the car. You know, I had a little truck. I got the fiance. I got all these things. And I'm like, I get it. I'm almost there. I just need one more check on the box to be the head coach. And all things were taking like a thief in the night. And so it really you know, like I said, I was there and I didn't want to continue on because I was like, everything's gone. And so just in that place, you know, I just kept hearing God, and I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm hearing. Let me call my dad. And at the time I hadn't talked to my dad in like probably like a year. I hadn't talked to my dad in like a year. Cause I mean, even though my dad is not a pastor anymore, he still knows that Bible.
For sure, 100%. 100%.
And so I called my dad, and my dad said, you having a Job story, you need to read Job. And this is my first time ever reading Job, knowing who Job was.
Yeah.
You know, I always, when I used to flip through the Bible, I used to see, I would be like, oh, Job. And so I said it, it's Job. I didn't know it was Job. And so I started reading. I started reading the Bible and read the story of Job, and that interaction with the Bible and with the Lord really brought me out of that dark space. And then I had another coach who also got fired with me, who I just had met when I lived in Atlanta. My brother, he was the musician at his grandmother's church, and I started going to church with him on Sunday because I remember I didn't have nobody else to call. I called him, and he was like, he came to the house. I was literally on the floor, like on the floor crying.
Yeah.
And he came in there and he was like, man, bro, get up, bro. You ain't gotta be in the floor. Get up, bro.
Yeah.
And so start going to church with him every Sunday with his family, because his church is a little small church in Georgia, Agape Christian Center, and all the members know each other. It's all relatives, all family.
It's family.
Exactly. So it's a small church of about 30 people, and I started going to church with them every Sunday.
Yeah.
And I would go eat dinner at their house. I would do all those things. And so we're talking about God every single day.
Love that.
Talking about God every day.
Love that. And it's funny because what shifted was that you went from like religion to relationship. And you went from having people around to actually having community that was pouring into you.
Yes.
Both like vital to life.
Right.
Like when you've been through what you just described, it's vital to life because you realize it's the lifeline I had never had hooked up.
Exactly.
I was living by accolades. I was living by accomplishments. I was living by status. And none of that was feeding me to where when it just like when it got yanked away, my lifeline's gone. I don't even have a purpose anymore. I don't even know why I should keep living.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Bro.
No, it was
so much.
And where I thought I lost, I gained, you know, because I didn't lose anything. I didn't lose a thing. My health got better because at the time I was like 390 pounds. Never been 300 anything. Never been over 280. Never been a big person. And, you know, health and all those things were in the way at the time. And so when, you know, everything I felt like I lost, I gained everything. Started back working out. Started building a relationship with the Lord. Started talking to the Lord each and every day. Started understanding that it's not about religion, about relationship, like you said, and trusting Him went from being embarrassed about the situation because it was something that you don't want to tell. Oh, somebody leaves you. Oh, you get fired. You must have done something. I'm like, no, I didn't do anything. I wasn't the greatest person in that relationship. I wasn't the greatest person at that job. But at the same time, um, it had to happen.
Come on.
It
Yeah.
had to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm glad and grateful that it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. No, and I know to some people hearing you even say that, it's like, bro, that didn't have to happen. Like, imagine where you would be if that hadn't happened. Imagine like how your life would look.
Right.
And there is this knowledge
Mhm.
when you begin that relationship with Christ, where
Right.
you realize that no, that was the plan I had for me.
Exactly.
We
It
talked
was my plan.
about yeah, it was,
was my-
I mean, it looks so good. I put it,
Right.
I mean, like, God, come on, we don't say this, but like, God, I don't think you can do it better than this. I mean, come
Right.
on, look at this, look at this. I built some really cool
Right.
stuff. Yeah, I
You
mean,
know
come on,
something,
God.
yeah.
And it's just like we believe that God, you can go help those who need help.
Right.
I've got this one covered until life shows you that like what you
Right.
had covered can go away. It even brought me to the question one time of who am I without all of this stuff?
Exactly.
Like who am I without this time? Who am I without this job? Who am I? Everything that can be taken from me.
Right.
Who am I? Because if I don't know who I am
Right.
outside of all of this stuff,
Exactly.
then if I lose all of this stuff, then I'm nobody, and I don't have a purpose, and I don't have anything that says go now. I don't have anything.
Right.
So like you, I lay there in that bed, and I like when I say this laying next to me so much, you don't see a road forward.
Right.
And I just heard this the other day. A lot of times we hope to us in those moments looks like a new plan written out that says, okay, when you do this, then we're going to go and do this. Then we're going to go here and get this back. Then we're going to go. And God is like, I'm going to be a light unto your feet. And that light is literally for the very next step. I want you to take that next step. Like, no. I don't need you to know what's beyond that step. I need you to take that very next step. Like, take that one step.
Right. And sometimes when you don't want to step, he will help you step.
Come on.
And he knew all those things needed to be over. I needed to leave that job, and I didn't want to leave it. The relationship didn't need to continue. And it was like, okay, let me help all those things get out the way. And so that I can be first and foremost in your life, because you're using those things as an idol.
Come on.
And even football. Because I got to the point where football was an idol for me. I found my identity in it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't play no more, so I get to coach it now. And it, I just flipped it.
Yeah.
Now it's an identity in coaching. It's who I am. It's everything that I do. And I tell our young men all the time now, I say, I enjoy working with y'all and helping y'all more than I ever enjoyed playing. And I said, I don't even really like coaching. I like helping you find out who you are in life and in Christ first and foremost. So, because I'm probably one of the people that really don't even watch football.
Right.
I used to watch football all the time. I used to keep up with teams. You asked me in the car who was my team. I used to have a team. I used to have all this. It was every single thing. And now,
that's fair.
It's God.
That's fair. Dang, I feel seen right now. like, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, it's rough being the guy who doesn't watch every game and know every team stats and know basketball. It not that it's rough. It's just that sometimes in some circles that I've been in the past, that was the topic of conversation. So I didn't really have a lot to add. So it was just like, God curated and brought me into community with people who didn't have to talk about sports. Like we go deep with life, because my life is way more important. Your life is way more important than this football game, this basketball game. Like, none of that stuff is fleeting. That stuff is gone. I mean, it doesn't dictate or change anything in my life. But it was in realizing that like, I spend so much time sitting here watching this, watching probably what God gifted this young man with the ability to do.
Exactly.
And I'm missing out on the opportunity to do what God gifted me the ability to do because I'm watching another person do what he was gifted to do. And I'm not even going to go down that road.
I mean, we get so caught up in it, and it can trap you because you feel like that's the only thing that you can do. And being from the hood, being from a Black community, we give you football, we give you basketball, and sometimes baseball, and that is what you're supposed to do. That is who you are. That's your identity. Yep. And even when people find out, that I coach, they want to talk football, and I'm like, I kind of want to do something else because there's so many other things I do outside of football.
Yeah.
I hike, I run, I serve at church, I do all these other things. Let's talk about those things. You don't have to just sit here and talk about football all day. And a lot of young men, and not even just young men, young women, when their college careers are over, high school careers are over, they suffer mentally because it's something that all their whole life was playing out in their own minds, first and foremost, playing out in their own minds. And then every single thing that they've had was always lined up. Oh, I got practice this day. Or I travel ball this day. I got this day. I got class this day. Everything was lined up and they seen all those praise, people patting them on the back and telling them how great they were. And once those lights and things stop, they don't know who they are. And the Lord has a plan for everybody. And same thing in my life when coaching stopped, relationships stopped. That's why, I've been single for so many years, is when all those things were taken, I found out who I truly was.
Yeah.
And who he has me to be. Because all those things were in the way. I would use those things as distractions. I would use those things as vices or idols.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. But hey there, before we continue on with today's episode of God's Glory and Men's Real Stories, we want to take a moment to share something special with you. Our new sponsor, Confined Space Coffee. Are you looking for a coffee that fuels your heart and uplifts your spirits? Well, look no further. Confined Space Coffee isn't just your average brew. It's a handcrafted blend designed for those who seek connection, inspiration, and a good coffee to sip while sharing stories. It's made from the finest beans sourced from around the world, where every cup is a testament to hard work and dedication. Perfect for you, our listeners, who appreciate the beauty in every step of the journey. At Confined Space Coffee, they believe that great conversation and deep connections often happen over a warm cup of coffee. Whether you're getting ready for a long day or winding down and listening to a powerful conversation on our podcast, their coffee is there to accompany you. So here's the best part as a special offer to our listening community. You can use the code GLORY, capital GLORY, at checkout to receive 10% off your first order. That's right. Experience the vibrant flavors and rich stories waiting for you in every sip. So why not brew some Confined Space Coffee today? Gather around the table, share your own stories, and let the warmth of great coffee bring you closer to those you love. Remember, brewing coffee is an art, and at Confined Space Coffee, they're dedicated to making every cup a masterpiece, while bringing attention to the dark, confined spaces we find ourselves in that bring us closer to God. Now, let's get back to today's episode. Remember, whether it's sharing God's glory or exploring men's real stories, great coffee makes everything better. Thanks again for tuning in. I even want to point out the fact that you didn't say people. You said I did.
Yes.
A lot of times people didn't get lost in this idea of like, well, my husband, my wife's never been an idol to me. No. He didn't say it's an idol to you. Right. He said it was an idol to him. And a lot of times we talk about that right over of like how sometimes what we recognize has become an idol doesn't mean it's an idol blanket across the world for everybody. You know, who was sitting on the throne of your heart. Right. You know who you put there. And I can't tell you who you did. More importantly, I can't tell you what you did. I would have done. I did.
Right.
So I think it's important to recognize that like everybody has a different idol.
Yes.
And then not to say everybody does, not to say everybody has an idol, but without being cognizant of like who's more important, who do you glorify, who do you praise, and I never forget, I can't remember who it was. The pastor one time he was talking about how like we bow down to the things in our lives because we put them higher than Christ, and we don't even realize it. Right. So if I were to tell you, hey, it's an idol in your life, You'd be like, no, it's not. You're hating.
Yeah, he's not hating. No.
You're just hating on him. And it's like, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe that wasn't for me to call out. Because I believe the guy has a way of showing everybody what the idols are. Because when he takes them, now you got if you choose to, you got an up close and personal seat with Christ, because that's no longer your distraction. That's no longer in your life, which is why I think about it. I mean, I'm guilty of this. If somebody left my life, I had to run and ravage to find something new to replace it.
Exactly.
Because I didn't know how to be by myself. I didn't know how to be with the Lord. The Lord wasn't my first choice. The woman in my life, the things in my life was my first choice. And so if I lost that choice, I had to hurry up and recoup a new choice, because my lifeline in my eyes was going down. I was losing life. Like, I'm bleeding out over here. I need somebody to patch me up. So who can I bleed on next in my life?
Exactly. And you know, every single time that he has done something for me in my life, I didn't get it right then, even though I lost all those things, the job and the relationship at the time. You know, start going to church, start doing these things, start being better with him. But at the same time, I still was over here doing this and still hanging out, going here, still drinking, still entertaining women. I was still doing things, but I was going to church though.
Yep.
Church.
We good. I checked out on the box.
Exactly.
I'm showing up on Sunday for you. Like that's their deal, right?
Exactly. He like, you know, I'm still doing those things. And he was like, okay, he ain't listening. Gotta take a little bit more. We got to take a little bit more. We're going to let him crash out right here. And I ended up having to crash out. And that house that I was so proud of, had to end up losing the house. That car that I was so proud of, had to end up losing both cars. And so he was like, now we're going to get his attention, because he was using all these things to suffice. He was I was too busy trying to act like I was good, not knowing that I was hurt.
Yeah.
So I was hurt.
And you
but
know
I was
what?
trying to act good.
Yeah, and on top of that, after it all left, you were too ashamed to expose it to others. And I think that's where a lot of us find ourselves to, like, this happened to me, and so I'm going to act like I'm good now. I'm going to act like everything's fine.
Right.
And when people, hey man, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Hey, how's life? Man, everything's good. That, you know, don't let you be in the church and pick up the church and go up, blessed and highly favored.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm great. It's great, everything great. And it's like, you can be blessed and you can be bleeding
at the same time.
At the same time.
Pain is a part of the process. And I tell our young men all the time, I'm good. I'm straight, coach yourself right into the grave.
Come on.
Because they do it with their grades. They do it, you know, with their lives. Because as a college coach, you know, you're going to experience all these things in a week. You're going to experience death. Somebody on your team, family member passed away. You're going to experience homelessness. Somebody on your team, family member going through homelessness. You're going to experience poverty. You're going to experience loss. You're going to experience a lot of things in a week.
Yeah.
Because you're in charge of 130 plus young men.
Yeah.
So they got things going on at home that you're going to experience. So you're going to go through those things. And I had to go through those things multiple times. And, you know, just trying to explain to them that if you're not okay, say something. And I was too prideful to say something. I was too prideful on using social media to show that, you know, I'm good.
Come on.
Like I'm at a party with my cousin.
Speak
you know,
to him. Yeah.
Doesn't matter that, you know, these people I got fired. And I was trying to show that school that I was good too as well.
Yeah.
Cause like, you know, I would see them like pay attention to everything. And I was like, I'm gonna show them that I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not good. I'm not good the whole time.
Yeah. And what's cool is that the hardest thing and the heaviest thing you could ever do is tell just even the circle that's around you that I'm not good.
Right.
It's even crazier to some people to tell the world that I'm not good. And the crazy part is, we've seen this, bro. We've seen entertainers, we've seen artists that are screaming for I'm not good through their actions, through their crash outs. but people are laughing, too busy saying, "Oh man, that's just his MO. That's just, hey, look, he just, he just letting off some steam." And it's like, bro, no, he he he's not comfortable saying I'm not good.
Right.
So when he went and did that, that was his way of saying, I'm not good.
Yes. No, we do that all the time. We were just talking about the coach at Michigan, and everybody's laughing. And I said, man, we shouldn't, when men fall, don't laugh.
Yeah, come on.
We so busy judging and giving our opinions of situation and not looking at going through something. Maybe we want to pray for him.
100%.
And so we feel like because our sin is different than this person's sin,
right?
Then I'm cool.
Come on.
Because I had to tell somebody the other day, he was like, well, talking about a homeless person, I was like, well, we see this homeless person, you feel like that your sin is different or whatever they have done in their life is different for them because they're on the street and you're not. No. We all in the same boat because the Lord loves each and every one of us the exact same.
Yeah.
And you're one decision from
Come
it.
on.
People feel like because, this person steals cars or this person sells drugs, that I'm better than them because, I work at the Fortune 500. You may beat your wife. You may cheat on your wife. You may do multiple things. You're still in the same boat as that other person. Our vices are just different. The things that we do are just different.
Yeah.
You may have a pornography problem.
100%.
That's still bad.
For sure.
That's still bad. That's a sin.
Yeah.
This other person may do this and do that. So
yeah. No, it's a good, bro. Come on. That's so good. And that literally recognizes that, like, yeah, you can look at him and how he deals with his stuff, but how are you dealing with yours?
Exactly.
Like, I know, you hit him like
we got in your life.
For sure.
You may have the lust of the eyes. You may have a lot of things. Like everybody has something. So we shouldn't be judgeful. We shouldn't be, boasting or bragging or any of those things. We should be praying for people.
For sure.
And so that's why people a lot of times, especially men, we don't come out and say that we're hurt or we're going through stuff of fear of being judged.
Yep.
Fear of people laughing at us.
Yep.
And I did that. I didn't come out and say I was going through this. I remember one of my friends had for example, the time when I was going through all of this, I graduated from my master's program. And so I drive to my master's program. The graduation, we had a party. I didn't have a dime. I didn't have a dollar. We were supposed to have this weekend, everybody getting together. All my homeboys, they're coming back from, their families, they live in different areas of the state, of the country now, and we are all coming back for this weekend to celebrate this achievement that I had.
Right.
Not knowing that I didn't have a dime to get here. My car running on fumes at the time. And, we had rented out this Airbnb and we supposed to have fun, there's supposed to be drinks, there's supposed to be everything. And if it wasn't for people giving me congratulations or envelopes with money, and I wouldn't have no dimes. I would have no money. But instead of coming out and telling my friends the truth, I hid it because I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And so a lot of men do those things. We hide under smiles. We hide under material things. We hide under maybe going to parties or drinking or hanging out. We hide behind liquor or smoking. We hide behind so many things because we don't want to tell the truth. And I don't like hiding.
Yeah. Wow, bro. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking like this is based on something you said earlier. What does that look like to share with the person that you're struggling, that you don't have it, that you've been living a lie? Knowing that there is shame that wants to keep you hidden, but what does that look like coming to somebody you trust, somebody that you've never considered confiding to, but you're tired of carrying the load and the weight of it by yourself? I think that for a lot of people, because we don't always see what that looks like, we see this picture in our head of how it will play out if we do it and how we may be laughed at or ridiculed, and it made worse if we do. And you know, I can't, it's hard to reenact something like that. I'm like, bro, like if you were to go to somebody you trust and say, bro, I've got to come clean. This light that y'all see, I mean, it's not real.
Right.
And of course, I mean, it's going to turn into like, oh, well, what do you mean? But like, I think the lack of seeing that perpetuates the idea to hide more. And we hear men all the time say, well, you know, yeah, I can't even be honest with my lady, with my wife, because of how it may come back on me. And I get it. I don't want to sit here and act like I don't understand that. I get that. I'll be the first to tell you it's me. I was that guy. And similar to your story, it came to a point where I didn't have a choice anymore.
Right.
Like I didn't get a choice to say I don't feel like telling anybody. I had to. And it shouldn't have had to get there like it did, but it's like I had to. Yeah, 100%. And so I don't know. I wish there was like a, you know, with everything. You wish you could take a pill, something that could help you with that. You wish you could offer men something to encourage them to say, hey, look, tell them.
Right.
Find somebody you trust that you can tell. Find somebody God put in your life that you don't know why they're in your life, and let them know.
That's why community is so important.
Come on.
Having people around you that you can trust, having people, strong men of faith around you. You have to have that community. I in charge of young men all the time, you have to have that community. Like a lot of guys, they feel lonely, especially when they're out of that team setting. When they're in that team setting, they have that camaraderie. Everybody out to the same goal. Everybody got that same mission. Everybody talks every day. Everybody dap you up. You have that togetherness. That's the same thing that we got to have in our regular life.
Facts.
Community.
Come on.
People that's going to cheer for you. People that's there for you to pick you up, because football is nothing but a microcosm of life. You know, work hard, don't go your way. Sometimes you work harder, still don't go your way. You got to come back and do it again. And it's the same thing in our lives. Community is so important. And it feels like freedom when you get to tell the truth. You feel so many things weigh so many things off of you. If you just say, hey, I'm really having a bad day today. You know, it's not that I don't want to talk to you, and I feel like I should have did that in relationships that I've had. It's not that I don't want to talk to you. It just, I'm so used to going back to my past and not being able to have nobody to talk to growing up that I just want to be quiet today. You know, and so, exactly. And so it just telling the truth and being free with it and letting it go and stop, you know, going to battle in your own mind, because 85% of what we hear is between our ears. You know, it's in your head. You telling yourself, oh, they judging you. You told them this. Oh, they looking at you now. They looking at you crazy. You can't do that. You gotta remember what the Father, you know, combat all those lies with the Father's word about He has said about you. He said that you are beautifully and wonderfully made in His likeness and image. You must combat all those evil thoughts with Him. His word.
Take Him captive. I love it.
Yes, you have to.
I love that.
Because it starts at a young age for men. They tell you be strong. Oh, boys don't cry. This, that, and the third. Do this. You got to be tough. Stick your chest out. All that is trauma wrapped in trauma. Come
on.
So,
tell them. Thank
you. People always like to say, oh, these kids these days different. I said, no, not really. They not. They don't know nothing more than we knew. They just have more technology. And the thing is, one thing that I commend them about is that when they see something messed up, they're gonna say something about it. And they're not, and if they think that you're not a person that is with them, they're not gonna fool with you. And so we take that as disrespect. Whereas as kids, we heard people say, you know, do as I say, not as I do, and respect your elders when they were dead or wrong. You know, you would have your mom would you'll get a whooping, and instead of saying sorry or anything like that to you, they just start randomly buying you. They go, you hungry? They don't say like, you just beat me. Like, it's like, are you hungry? They'll feed you. Or, you know, your uncles or the men in your family not being able to talk or saying anything, saying sorry about stuff. And so we all took that. And we grew up with those pains and those angers. And so we revert back to those things when we're going through stuff. Because one of the biggest things that I got in my devotions, and it was a pastor that said it, was from 28:19. He said it. He was talking about Peter. And when they came to get Jesus, Jesus had been telling them all the time, they coming to get me.
Yeah.
They coming to get me. You know, they coming to get me. And so when they finally came to get him, what the first thing Peter do? He pulled the sword out, sliced her head.
Yeah.
And we all gave kudos to Peter. Like, Peter, oh, he brave. He the man. That's who he is. No, it was nothing but trauma. That was trauma because trust and obedience, I don't even pull my sword.
Yeah.
I don't have to pull it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in traffic. I get cut off in traffic.
Come on.
I can cuss, but I shouldn't have to. I got trust.
Yeah.
You know, obedience, trusting in him, trusting in his word. You know, the same thing when we get cut by people, instead of going back to what we did before, because people love to say, you know how I am.
Right.
No, that doesn't mean you're supposed to stay there.
Yeah. No, bro. Come on, you cooking right now. Okay, so like, and it made me be like, hold on. It made me think about a scripture. Just want to make sure I get the right one. Yeah, 2 Timothy 1:7.
Right.
He gives us power, love, and self-discipline or self-control.
Yes.
And he's asking us to steward that self-control in a way to where I've prepared you already.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the self-control is going to be how you respond to what's coming. Especially if I prepared you. Especially if I told you what's coming.
He's already did it.
100%. And a lot of times, like you said, the trigger produces the reaction that looks a lot like our upbringing of how people around us responded,
exactly.
How I learned to respond. Right. Bro, you cooking, bro. I mean, and literally, it's like, and we find ourselves sitting in front of people who care about us saying, why do you keep doing that?
Right.
And it's because we won't deal with what's underneath that causes us to continue to do the same thing and get the same place back again.
Over and over, because we don't want to face it. It's easier to go back to what's familiar and what's comfortable. Come on. Than to face it, because now I got to actually work. Now I got to actually look at it in the face and figure it out and change. And we don't want to do that because it's scary.
100%.
It's scary.
100%.
And men do it all the time.
100%.
You know? It's scary.
Guilty.
To change.
100%.
Oh, I'm guilty.
Listen. Change is something that nobody has ever given us a crash course on to say, hey, look, by the way, change is good. Change is important. Matter of fact, whether you want to or not, change is going to happen. Now, you can choose to fight against the change and continue to fight through it, to go upstream, swim upstream and get nowhere. Or you can realize that the change, the opportunities, the adjustments, the doors closing and the doors opening are opportunities for you to grow. And growth is vital in life. Like, you don't like, oh, bro, you different. You new, you brand new. Yes, I am. That's okay. Yes, I am.
And that's okay.
That is 100% okay. And you, if you're not hearing that regularly, then you are probably not growing. You should hear people tell you, you acting, especially your old people, your family. I don't know, but like there should be people like you just acted different. You know, yes, thank God I have grown. I am different than I used to be.
And we want to sit and be comfortable. You know, we don't want to be called out. And somebody says that to us, like, oh, you knew. Because we just want to get along.
Yeah.
We just want to fit in.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I told you earlier. When I was doing things outside of him, I was doing things to fit in and to be a part of the crowd. And of standing on the outside where the Lord wanted me to stand.
For sure.
But it's familiar. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
As men, we don't want to stand alone.
Yeah.
We want to stand in solidarity with our brothers.
For sure.
That are there with us instead of being different.
Yeah.
You got to stand out because the Lord didn't create us to, fit a narrative, to fit into this box that the world tries to put us in.
For sure.
And you got to be brave when that change, because change, you either going to change, you're going to keep doing the same thing.
For sure.
Because, I mean, we all got those uncles that do the same stuff.
Facts. Every holiday we see them and they still doing the same thing. Nothing against you, but you've been running that play, you've been running that game, you've been running them tricks and all that other stuff for quite a while. Like no life's changed.
Yeah, like I got one uncle that's still to this day, man, love you. He still to this day be like, man, you still play ball? His mind is so stuck on me in football that he has missed the last 15 years of me coaching ball.
Wow.
He's so still stuck in the past.
Yeah.
You know, that it's hard for them to accept who I am today.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a lot of reason why men don't change as well, because some people are so stuck in who you were.
Yeah.
That change is.
I got so much empathy for guys like that, because I realize in a lot of cases that something happened that locked them into that time period, that moment. Where they can't get past that. And when you realize it, when you see it, it's like, man, I got so much empathy, because I pray that the opportunity presents itself for him to have to come face to face with that moment that kept him right there. Still spin the block, the same block over and over again. I pray that something happens to where he has to face it. And whether it be faced with tears, it probably will. Whether it be faced with crying out to God, it probably will. It's a moment where you surrender this story, this moment, this traumatic thing to say, I'm ready to move forward. I've been just like one of the Israelites. I've been circling the wilderness for 40 years because I won't listen, because I won't go there, because I won't address it. And
it doesn't matter how many times I see him. He'll still bring, man, you still in Knoxville? I haven't lived in Knoxville so long.
I got so much love for them, because I want to see that happen for them. I want to see, I can't do it for them.
No.
But I want, I think it was Philip Anthony Mitchell who one time said, sometimes you got to pray people into the hands of the enemy.
Yes.
For certain things to begin to happen into their life. Now that sounds crazy.
It does.
But listen, talking about I was out here just being cradled by the enemy. I'm just out here just being, and it wasn't until things fell apart that it was just like, oh, okay, this is not just like I pick up the pieces. No, this is my life is never going to be the same from this point forward. So who am I? Let's start with that, because okay. So let's pivot, y'all. Let's pivot.
Yes.
Because we've been cooking on this one. So how did God open the door for you to be here in Charlotte? And not just open the door for you to be here in Charlotte. Like he opened the door for so many things. I mean, but you probably saw it this small. And God was like, nope, it's gonna look more like this.
Man, he opened the door. I had a chance to go to El Waters and coach at El Waters for like 3 months. And then the door opened for University of Miami to be assistant strength coach at University of Miami. And I was like, oh, Father, that made it. I get to prove to everybody that, hey, I could do this thing and whatever. And so, put all those eggs in that basket. And it wasn't even a full month before the NCAA, came and terminated the contract. Because we had incoming freshmen coming that I coached in 2017 in high school. And this is 2022. And I'm like, I haven't coached them kids in forever, but it was prior relationships. So with me being hired at the same time as them coming in, the NCAA was like, well, either these kids will be eligible when he's there, or you got to fire him. And so I had to be let go. And it's kind of funny how it was, because I was getting close with the Lord when I was living in Atlanta, and I was still growing it as I moved to Jacksonville and then to Miami. But at the time in Miami, I started to have some thoughts. I was like, everybody goes out. All the coaches go out, all the coaches hang out, all the interns hang out, everybody drink. I said, man, I can do it a little bit. It ain't gonna hurt, because I know I'm still a guy. That thought crossed my head. I was up out of there in less than 24 hours. Boy. That thought came across my mind. I was like, I can do it. Boy. I can do that and God. He was like, nah.
When did you finally say, praise God for pulling me out that fire?
Well, when I got here, because I mean, I had to go back home. I had to go back to my grandmother's house, and I had to go back to square one, grandma's house. Once that was terminated, and I'm just working out with the kids in the neighborhood, training the kids in the hood, using the same workout that I had the young men go through here. And my grandmother gave me help on that. She was like, because she still get the newspaper, and she was like, they hiring down there at the factory. They give $1,500 signing bonus. I said, grandma, I said, man, God got something. I don't know what, but I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm in my neighborhood jogging. They don't run in my neighborhood unless you running for something. And I'm just working out and just trusting and believing in the Lord. And then I talked to Coach Flowers, and we talked 2 times. And then I flew to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I've been here ever since.
Wow.
And so didn't know him, never heard of the school before. I had been to Charlotte a gazillion times before, and was actually right now, I used to go to Panthers games. And
I don't know why I thought you were about to say I came here for CIAA.
no, we used to go, never heard of the CIAA.
Okay.
Never heard of any of those things.
Okay.
Never. I knew about the MEAC and the SWAC. I went to Tennessee State.
Okay.
So we played in the OVC. It's an HBCU, but at the same time, we play in the OVC. We only playing 2 HBCUs every year.
Okay.
We play in Jackson State. We play in FAMU. That's it.
Got it.
So SWAC and the MEAC. That's it.
Got it.
Never heard of the SEAC or the CIAA until I got here. I didn't even know that we were the first HBCU to play a football game until my first year when we were coaching against Livingstone, and they announced it on the loudspeaker. I said, "Oh, wait, what?" Didn't know.
Yeah.
I had no clues. And so the Lord made it possible for me to be here. And, what I understand now is that he was separating me again. Because in my mind, I had some familiar people, some familiar tendencies. So he brought me here to separate me from everybody. I had no college friends here, had no, connection to Charlotte. And so getting here, I have grown my relationship, but not only those young men that I'm in charge of, they make me want to be better.
Yeah.
Because with me having the opportunity to, be a chaplain with the team as well, not only as a position coach and a strength coach, they looking at everything. They watch, they analyzing everything I do.
For sure.
Every single thing I do.
100%.
Not only, it's a little bit different because, I have children, my son and my daughter, but when you have, my son and my daughter, I see them, every now and again when I see them and, whether it's games or things like that, because my son is 21, my daughter's 19. My daughter's in college. My son is a industrial engineer. So he's already got his big boy job, makes $100,000. He doing his thing. And so I see them, all the time. You talk all the time. I say, well, I have a relationship with kids. I see them all the time, but I see these young men more. That's what I'm saying.
For sure.
I see these young men more. And so these young men are always watching everything I do. If I don't come in there, I don't talk about God. What's going on, coach? If I come in there and, I don't got a Bible verse today, you're not praying or things like that, they're watching every single thing that I do. Not only does my children make me want to be better, these young men that I'm in charge of, because I said I will not be one of those coaches that stand up here and tell you to do something and I'm not doing it in my own life.
Yeah. That's good.
That's important.
Yeah.
And it goes back to me, wanting to be a coach from the first place, because I've seen too many people say this, or I've seen too many people say they care, they call you family. And when I needed them when I was going through all those things of getting kicked out of school, nobody was there.
Yeah.
And so, it helps me now.
Yeah, no, that's real. Like I can completely understand it. I see that conversation and that sentiment a lot online with men saying, they weren't there.
Right.
I didn't have those OGs that weren't there to not just pick me back up, but to point me in a different direction.
Right.
To point me and to be living that direction so I could see what it looks like. Maybe it's a blessing that for a lot of us, we didn't have the wrong help and support come into our lives that would have supported us into the opposite direction. But regardless, when we get here, it's like, what do I do with the platform? What do I do with everything that God's given me? I mean, I look at what you're doing through your platform and through social media. not only focusing on the spiritual side, but focusing on the mental side, focusing on the physical side.
Right.
We're going to run a mile. We're going to read the scripture. Like all of that stuff is important. All of that stuff. And even the things we hit on a day of like community, all of that is important. Those are the lifeline that men, I recognize a lot of men around me realize that, man, without the community that I'm building with men, without that the relationship, not the religion, but the relationship I have with Christ, without me taking care of my body, man, listen, I'm getting old, bro. I'm out here, bro. Like all of those are important aspects. And the most important one, just because sometimes, like, think about it, they came to Jesus and they were like, what's the most important commandment? Exactly. Well, I think the most important one is if you look to Christ, if you look to him, then everything else, I believe, will line up. Everything else goes into effect. I think that if you are focusing on idolizing your physical health and how your physique and everything like that, then that's your God then.
Exactly.
If you focusing on financial, then that's your God. So who's the God? Who have you put first in your life? And everything else, allow everything else be a byproduct of where he's leading you, what he's showing you, and what he's doing in your life that looks nothing like the life you would plan. And yeah, man, I think you're doing an incredible job with that, bro. And like I said, I love watching not just what you put out as far as content, but just what you guys, the program you guys have built over there at Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Smith as it's like, I know some people don't like that, but like, hey, we are very intelligent. We just like to call it Smith sometimes.
Right.
SMIFF. I know it's SITS. See, now I can't spell SMITS.
Right.
But no,
the Ford. That's what I like to say.
The Ford. Yeah, that's where we at. We on the Ford. But I love what you guys are doing over there. I love the program you're doing. I love what you're pointing to the young men over there. And more importantly, I love the fact that y'all brought a CIAA championship, like something, something to be proud of. Like for alumni to look back and be like, that's my school now. Like, yeah, no, let me pull out with my paraphernalia, with my Smith hat in. Let me get like it gives us something. The men something to be proud of and realize that even that it can be taken from you next year.
Yes.
You what you have today can be gone tomorrow, but what you put inside of them, that's yours.
Exactly.
That's yours. Like Christ isn't going anywhere.
Right.
God's not going. He's going to be there when when they take everything away, when your life falls apart, when your life doesn't look the way you had planned and the championships don't keep coming. It's like, yeah, I'm still there to carry you through it. I'm still there in these moments because I recognize that, yeah, you thought then twice the days were hard. Right. No, what I'm about to take you through, like this is going mold. It's gonna be a whole lot. Yeah. So no, bro, I'll give you flowers, bro, and just thank you for what you're bringing into the space that God has opened up for you to be in. You probably didn't see all of this ahead of time, but God was like, oh yeah, no, this is bigger than just him. I just need to position him. And now watch the people that he reached, who they begin to reach, how that begins to affect. I think there was you had a young man who recently left Smith to jump into the portal, right? Imagine what he takes with him. Not just, you can get the stats and all that, but imagine what he takes with him to the next school he goes to. Exactly. He's literally a resemblance. He, as they say, in the Bible, I want to be a resemblance of my rabbi. I want people to see my rabbi through my choices, through the words that come out of my mouth. And I think that I know that we are all called to make disciples, as you are doing, and allowing those disciples to go out and make more disciples when they leave. And so, no, I think it's just incredible, bro. I appreciate you coming and sharing your story and sharing just like what God continues to do in your life and how he continues to do it, even through the pitfalls of and I lost it all. And I'm back at grandma's house again. And God wasn't done yet.
Was not done.
And I'm back at grandma's house again. And God's not done yet.
Not done. Not done at all.
Yes, I think that's incredible, bro. I think that's incredible. So what else do you feel like God has put on your heart just to leave people with maybe today? Even if it's just like, hey, look, here's the word of the day. Like I didn't run over here, but like I feel like God put this on my heart even when you reached out to me. And maybe it was just a scripture, maybe it was just a moment where he just kind of like poured something into you for you were like, yeah, wow. Because I mean, I think I'll be honest with you. I know you poured so much today, especially when it comes to like the things that men struggle with. But I'm gonna squeeze you, bro, and see if there's anything else that.
Man, I'm gonna just say Galatians 6:9, and let us not go weary in doing good. For in due season you shall reap a harvest.
Yeah.
And not give up. But the key thing that you got to listen for, and that he never said when. We get so focused and fixated on our timing that it's his time. Just like you said, the wringing out process, the pruning process, I like to call it, where he's shaping and molding us and getting us closer to him, so that we don't turn away from him. Because we just want, anytime you get cut, anytime that you go through something, you just want it to heal today.
For sure, 100%.
Now,
Come on.
like, hey, God, I prayed 10 minutes ago.
Yep. Read a couple scriptures.
Yeah. It need to be fixed today.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work that way. Whatever he's fine-tuning in your life, whatever he's doing for you in your life, trust him. Trust in him. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him. And he alone will straighten your path. Come on. And just know that, whatever you experience or whatever you're going through, speak to somebody, talk to somebody, whether that's someone at your church or someone that you trust. You can't, I'm good and I'm okay ourselves into the grave. You cannot do that as men, and just trust the process as he is growing in us.
Yeah.
Each and every day.
For sure. And if it's cool with you, I mean, I would even say sometimes people hear your story and they're like, dang, bro, he would understand. Like my brother has a great social media presence. I'm sure if you shot him a message and said, bro, you get it.
Yeah.
You'd understand it. I'm sure that he could begin to create, if not point you to a good community, but be the initial community. Maybe somebody you could even talk to about things. And I'm always careful when I throw that out there because it's like, man, I know you already got tons of young men coming at you already when it comes to like wanting to be a part of Johnson C. Smith University now. But I think that sometimes it starts with us of saying, I'll be your community.
Right.
I'll be that guy that you can provide or tell that to. You need to lay that down somewhere. And you need somebody who won't make you feel more ashamed about what you've been carrying that you keep saying, nah, I won't get it. Yeah, no. We're the brothers who sit at this table, we get it. We get it enough to where we'll come here and talk about it. And so I just pray that God soften somebody's heart today and hearing all of this to say, yeah, man, I'm tired of going down this path. I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of living this way. I'm tired of hiding the truth, and make a decision right now and say, all right, man, this is, I felt that something was off me just going to church every Sunday. I thinking my life would be good. I need more than that. And so, yeah, bro, I appreciate you coming and blessing us, man.
I appreciate the opportunity that the Lord has presented. I appreciate that he let our paths cross.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm grateful that he's using me, even in the things that I've been through and the things that I've done that, that I felt too shameful to tell at time, but he has let me know that he's forgiven me. Come on. I'm just grateful.
Yeah, love that. Well, bro, thank you again. Thank you all for listening today, joining us here, man. This was awesome, as always. I mean, if you thought that was good, like, listen, like I said, you need to subscribe. You need to go ahead and hit the bell so that you don't miss this episode. Because this is what we want you to receive and experience here. We want you to feel like this is your space, your safe space, your community where brothers get it. We want you to feel like the comments is a place where you can be honest and open and you can share things. So tap in with us. We'll look forward to catching you the next episode. Love you guys, and we will catch you on the next one.
Appreciate you.
Oh, wait a minute. Before we go, wait a minute. I forgot. Did he have anything you want to say? I just for all those, I just want to make sure I think we're good. Okay. All right. We'll catch y'all on the next episode.
Hey, and that wraps up another episode of God's Glory and Men's Real Stories. I'm Justin Moore. If today's conversation meant something to you, make sure you subscribe, leave a review, or share with someone who needs it. You can find past episodes, connect with us, and check out our merch at godsgloryandmensrealstories.com. Thanks to our sponsors for making this possible. Until next time, let's keep giving God the glory in every part of our story.